or you mentioned that recently there has been controversy and fraud around the cryptocurrency industry, and really the fun and games have come to an end, and valuations of crypto have come down very sharply. So again, going back to the temptation of easy money, eventually when you're not making investments, but you are making speculations, someone is going to be left holding the bag. And so what would you say to a Christian who is interested in making such a speculation?
You mean ethically?
Ethically speaking.
Oh, well, I would hope to be a bit more versed than I am currently if I was going to respond to them. But just as a general moral principle is that any movement economically for a believer, that its initial purpose is to really dishonestly gain economic advantage from the downfall of another is immoral.
Yeah. And I think one thing that happens, whether it's with cryptocurrency or whether it's even going back to something like land speculation, if you go back centuries, there's always a veneer in front of the actual workings of the exchanges that are going on. So that if you're not thinking about these things critically, then you can be tricked into putting your money into something that you think is a wise investment, or you're not giving consideration to the fact that when the house of cards comes crumbling down, because it's not an investment made in something that provides substantive actual value in the market, then someone's going to be left with nothing at the end of it. So Christians need to be cognizant of making unwise investments of that nature. So case in point, we just recently witnessed the largest Ponzi scheme in all of American history. So you would be familiar with Bernie Madoff.
Yes.
And you would also be familiar with the Enron scandal of the 90s.
Yes.
So to put this into perspective, the guy who oversaw the collapse of Enron, he was called in to clean it up, was also called in to clean up this recent collapsed crypto exchange. And this guy, his name is John J. Ray. He took over as the CEO of this company, FTX. And he said that the collapse of this crypto exchange was bigger than Enron. So he was there in person for both. To give you a little more context, and then we're going to loop this back into Christian moral virtue and what should be instructive for us. But you've got a crypto exchange, which you can think of as just like any other financial exchange. Customers park their funds in there that make them available to trade on a specific market. So with this, there is a company called FTX that was founded by a young, he was seen as a wonderkind billionaire, Sam Bankman-Fried. And so this company ended up being a Ponzi scheme, which is basically just this form of fraud in which the success of a non-existent enterprise is fostered by the payment of quick returns. So like the first investors fund the returns of later, the funds of later investors fund the returns of earlier investors. So there isn't enough money to go around. There isn't a one-to-one matchup of money for what people are putting in. I'm not going to go too much further. There's a lot of excellent analyses online for people who are interested in this sort of thing. But basically, this exchange collapses. And the CEO, Sam Bankman-Fried, has been loved by the elite classes in our country because of his philanthropy to political causes of all kinds. So as we were talking about off camera, the warning signs were there, but they were overlooked because he donated money to the right political
Bribing the right people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And he was able to, I think, swindle a lot of people who got starry-eyed about being able to invest in what appeared to be such a lucrative opportunity. So Tom Brady, famous example, was a big investor. They also got the naming rights to the Miami Heat Arena, so now they have to change the name
Wow, I didn't know that.
of that arena in Miami.
Really?
Yeah. So there are huge financial ramifications because at the end of the day, it was leaked that FTX was a massive Ponzi scheme. They were taking money from this exchange, funneling it into another enterprise, a research company that had been founded by the same guy, and they were using it to pump up their own digital currency. And so when all this came out, there was a run on the exchange for funds, and they went bankrupt. And this had a knock-on effect on the rest of the industry. So now you're seeing the values of cryptocurrencies collapse all over the place. And this is billions and billions of dollars that people were swindled out of, worse than Madoff, worse than Enron. And,
Wow.
and it's hard to comprehend, one, just because of the technical aspects of it, but it happened just like that. And now
Right.
we have this generational transformation, really a new face of fraud in the country.